quick message that's wanted to share with people who, there's a phrase, isn't there? You've got this. You've got this. It's really good in the way that we use it to encourage people who we know they do have it, but they're beginning to doubt that they do. So we say, come on, you've got this. You know, help them get through the day or whatever their interview or whatever it is that they're facing or something they're a bit stressed about. But I also have a message for people who, despite the fact people might say you've got this, they're thinking deep down, no, I've not got this. I was talking to a lady the other night actually who said she got to the point where recently that people kept on saying to her, you've got this, and it was actually making her feel worse, because she kept on struggling with the thing that she really didn't have, and she knew she didn't. And the more people said, you've got this, it just made her feel more guilty, more inadequate. So I've got a message for people who deep down feel like they don't got this. So I'm in the car just outside the kids' school at the moment. And last year, this is just an analogy, an illustration, if you like, but I think it's really helpful. Last year, Anna grew above 4'6". Anna's our eldest daughter, which, as you know, is a massive moment for young people because they don't have to sit in booster seats anymore. So we went off to school for the first time, and Anna sat in the front and James was still at the back. So that's a wonderful thing for Anna. She gets to ride up front and her brother's still stuck in the back. So she was very smug about it. Anyway, we pulled up outside school where I am now. And as we got up there, I got out the driver's seat, went round to the outside of James's door, because of course he's got child locks on the door, to open the door from the outside, let him out. And we started walking towards the school gate. Got about halfway there, turned around expecting Anna to be sort of trotting along behind us, and she wasn't. And I turned around and Anna was still sat in the car, like looking at me really confused and a bit anxious. And I sort of mouthed at her, come on, Anna, come on, you're going to be late. And she said, I can't. She kept on pointing down at the door and said, I can't get out, let me out. And I mouthed back, you can, because you're sat in the front. You see, Anna had spent so many years sat in the back that she'd learned that she needed somebody else to come round and let her out. And despite the fact that she'd was now sat in the front, her brain hadn't caught up with that reality. So she was sat in the front seat as if she was still sat in the back with the child locks on. There's no child locks in the front, Anna. You can open the door, you can get out. And I think we need to reserve those encouragements, you've got this, for those people that we know they really can. They just need that little bit of encouragement. But for the people sat in the back, I think often, you know, I could have stood outside James's window as long as I wanted and just said, come on, James, come on, James. And he rightfully would have just pointed down to the door and said, I can't. You can say get out as much as you want, Daddy, but I'm stuck in the car. Until you open that handle from the outside, there's nothing I can do about it. And some of us do get stuck in life. And from God's perspective, who is a father, he says, I know you are. And I'm waiting for you to ask me for help. There are certain things in life we can do. And the Bible is very clear that there are certain things that we can't, and we're stuck with until we reestablish, we get right with the God that we were created by. The one who looked at our situation and said, you're so stuck, that he sent his son Jesus to die on a cross to suffer on our behalf. He wouldn't have done that if the situation wasn't that serious, if we weren't that stuck. And then Jesus rose from the dead to give us a doorway through some of these dead ends. So Jesus didn't do that in vain. He didn't do that just for some of us. He did that because of the seriousness of our situation, because we're stuck in the back seat in so many areas of our life until we ask our Father to open the door from the outside. But, and this is just to finish the analogy, if you have invited God into your life, if you know Jesus to be your Lord, you know he's the way, you try your best to follow him, then you have been moved from the back seat to the front. Scripture's clear. You've moved from a place of curse to blessing. You've moved from a place of guilt. And despite how you feel, you've been moved into a place of right relationship with God. Not on your merits, but on what Jesus has done for you and what you're trusting in. It's so important that you don't now live this life as if you're still stuck in the back seat. There are things that we can do. There are better decisions that we can make. And there are better decisions that we must take. And God will do for us what we can't do for ourselves, but God will not do for us what he knows we must do for ourselves, because he wants us to grow like any father. He wants us to grow in maturity. He wants us to know more of the authority that we've got over these circumstances. I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect this life. It won't. But if you have accepted Jesus as your Lord and Saviour, then you have been fundamentally repositioned from the back seat to the front seat in relationship to the circumstances of your life. They no longer define your future, nor does your past. And if you are stuck in the back and you're kidding yourself that you are free, just remember, from Jesus' perspective, unless the Son sets you free, he says, unless the Son sets you free, you won't be free indeed. Or if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed.